the Jerusalem Institute for Israel Studies commissioned me to conduct a study about possibility of culture in Jerusalem serving as a bridge between world Jewry and their beloved city of Jerusalem. Jerusalem is a modern city. It's actually the largest city in Israel, and it has a very lively cultural scene. Jerusalem has many museums, musical venues, theater groups, galleries, artists, mainstream creativity, and also fringe and things that are more esoteric and reserved to specific groups. The question is, do Jews around the world relate to this type of culture in Jerusalem? Probably around 1 million Jewish people in a given year find their way to Jerusalem, either for the first visit as teenagers, as university students through Birthright Israel, or as adults coming with their synagogues, their organizations that they're active in, or simply family visits. So that's one form of connection Jews have with Jerusalem. Another form is those who come to spend a longer period of time here, to study, to volunteer, to serve as interns, mostly through the umbrella organization called Masa. At any given moment, there are thousands of Jewish people, mostly young people, who are spending several months in Jerusalem. And also we know that there's a group of more privileged people who actually own properties in Jerusalem and continue to come here on a regular basis and enjoy a special relationship with the city. But do they connect to culture in Jerusalem? And my research shows that the interface of all these people who come here and have a relationship with the city with its culture is actually very partial and very limited. Jerusalem is perceived as a place of pilgrimage, as a classical site where primarily we're talking about the old city, the areas around the Kotel, the Western Wall, the archaeological sites, and very differently to another side of the Jewish experience, and that is to Yad Vashem, a place that symbolizes Jewish catastrophes. Where is Jerusalem of the middle road, where so many cultural and social innovations have occurred in academia, in visual arts, in film, in museums, and so on? My findings are that in many of these cases, Jews who come here in various programs or on their own do not get the full range of experiences that Jerusalem has to offer. Many of the cultural features of Jerusalem are in Hebrew. They're very local, contextualized, and reflect issues and themes and questions that are not necessarily of interest to people who don't live here in the city. So we do have a gap also that comes also from the side of culture in Jerusalem. So we need to work on both ends. Now the study suggests several practical recommendations. First of all, we need to work with all the institutions of culture in Jerusalem, theaters, museums, galleries, and so on, to make sure that they realize that being in the center of the Jewish world and serving as the capital of the Jewish world, they have a responsibility to reach out to Jews around the world with their cultural offerings. Secondly, we need to radically improve our information systems. For those people who are looking for cultural expressions in Jerusalem, and I've checked this in my study in various ways, the information which is available now is very limited, it's not organized, it's hard to get information ahead of time, and the authorities in Jerusalem must find ways to improve this aspect of culture, because without information you can't really access this kind of culture. But thirdly, and this I'm saying to you, the viewers all over the world, people who care about Jerusalem, who come here on a regular basis or planning to come here for the first time, it's important that you understand that Jerusalem is not just an ancient city. Jerusalem is a very vibrant, multicultural, complex, and I would say one of the most interesting places in the world from the point of view of culture, society, intensity of life, that it is a shame not to connect to when you come here. Try and follow the cultural scene in Jerusalem. It has a lot to offer. We are now sitting in front of the Jerusalem Theater, one of several cultural venues in Jerusalem. The Jerusalem Theater itself, right behind me here, is a complex of several theaters and galleries. Every night you have here plays, movies, musical performances, and changing exhibits. This is just one of those places. I hope that in the future we will find ways to include culture in Jerusalem in your interaction with the city. And when you think of your next visit, think of how you're going to engage one of the expressions of culture that Jerusalem has to offer that are so precious and so unique to this place.